We all rely on digital infrastructure every single day.
Oh, absolutely. Constantly.
Right. I mean, from the banks we use to the actual water we drink from the tap.
Yeah, things we don't even think about until they stop working.
Exactly. But what happens when an AI becomes so incredibly good at hacking that its own creators are genuinely terrified to let it out of the lab?
It's a really chilling thought.
It is, and that is exactly the mission of today's deep dive.
Right.
We are unpacking this really fascinating, honestly kind of alarming interview from ABC News Australia.
Yeah. The piece covering Anthropic's new model.
Yes, exactly. It's an unreleased AI model called Mythos. And our goal today is to figure out, what exactly makes this specific model so dangerous.
Right, and we need to look at why Anthropic is hoarding it, basically only sharing it with a handful of massive corporate giants.
Yeah, that highly restricted approach. And most importantly, we need to explore what that means for you, the listener, and the local infrastructure you rely on every day.
Because, look, we are looking at a fundamental shift here in cybersecurity.
Okay, a fundamental shift. How?
We're moving away from theoretical risks, right?
Yeah.
Away from that Hollywood idea of a human hacker hunched over a keyboard in a dark room.
Right, the guy in the hoodie typing furiously.
Exactly. And we're stepping into an era of tangible, fully automated threats that, they don't sleep. They don't stop.
Wow. Okay, so let's start with the AI itself. Let's meet Mythos.
Let's do it.
So Anthropic has obviously been developing the next version of their standard AI tool.
Right, they're public models.
Yeah, the Claude family. People probably know the latest one, Opus.
Sure.
So Mythos is basically the next leap forward after Opus. But during testing, they found this massive surprise.
Very concerning surprise.
Right, because it wasn't just a highly articulate conversational tool. It had this exceptional, almost predatory talent for hacking.
And we really need to be precise about what talent for hacking means in this context.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that.
Because it goes far beyond what we typically imagine, when we hear that phrase.
Right. It's not just guessing a password.
Exactly. It's not just a scanner that flags a weak password. The engineers found that Mythos doesn't just spot a single vulnerability in a piece of software.
Okay.
It can actually chain vulnerabilities together.
Chain them.
Yes. And even more critically, it can independently write the executable code required to exploit those vulnerabilities.
Okay, wait, let's pause here because that concept of chaining feels like the absolute core of the danger.
It absolutely is.
So when you say chaining, are we talking about the AI recognizing that multiple small, seemingly harmless errors can be stacked up to create a massive breach?
Yes, precisely.
How does that actually work mechanically, though?
Well, think about traditional human hackers. They have to manually comb through thousands, sometimes millions of lines of code to find a single exploit.
Like a needle in a haystack.
Right. Say they find a memory leak. Mythos, on the other hand, it can ingest the entire architecture of a software system in seconds.
Wow, just instantly.
Yeah. And it spots that memory leak. Now, on its own, that leak might just cause a program to crash, right?
Annoying, but not the end of the world.
Exactly. But then Mythos cross-references that leak with the separate, totally minor flaw in, say, how user permissions are granted.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right. It realizes that if it triggers the memory leak in a very specific way, it can actually force the system to hand over administrator privileges.
That's terrifying.
That is chaining. Flaw A gives you the leverage to trigger flaw B, which just blows the door wide open.
It's like it's playing chess with the code.
Exactly. It requires a level of strategic foresight that, up until now, honestly, only top-tier human engineers possessed.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this mechanism right, it's basically the difference between a standard burglar and a master thief.
Okay, I like that. Go on.
So a run-of-the-mill burglar walks down your street, notices an unlocked window, and just climbs in.
Right, a single vulnerability.
Yeah, but Mythos is fundamentally different. It's the thief who walks up to your house, sees the windows are locked, but notices a loose brick in your garden wall.
Yep.
And then it uses that specific brick to smash a carefully chosen window, actively rewires your internal security alarm so it doesn't go off.
Exactly.
And then, if I'm following the part about writing the executable code, while they're at it, they basically write a step-by-step instruction manual for how to rob your specific house.
Yes.
And then they can just hand that manual off to anyone else.
That captures the escalation perfectly.
Yeah.
Especially that part about writing the manual.
Yeah, that part is wild to me.
Because that's why this crosses a red line. It completely takes the grueling human labor out of the cyber attack.
Right, the tedious stuff.
Historically, finding vulnerabilities, reverse engineering the logic to connect them, and then meticulously writing custom scripts to exploit them. I mean, that takes enormous skill.
And time, right.
Oh, massive amounts of time, sometimes months of work for a whole team of experts. But by automating that entire process, you drastically lower the barrier to entry for causing harm.
So anyone could do it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The autonomous nature of this threat
Yeah.
means an attack that used to take months could be spun up by a complete novice in moments.
Which naturally leads to the massive dilemma Anthropic faced when they realized what they had sitting on their servers.
Right, you don't just release that.
No. You don't put the ultimate master burglar manual on the public internet for a, $20 monthly subscription fee.
Absolutely not. They knew they had a severe public hazard on their hands.
So what did they do?
Well, Anthropic actually did what the security community generally considers the responsible thing initially.
Great, they didn't hide it.
No, they didn't bury the findings at all. They went straight to governments.
Right.
They brought in major U.S. banks to demonstrate the capabilities. They warned them about the potential consequences of Mythos, and really, the whole incoming wave of these frontier models.
So they sounded the alarm.
They did. They looked at the landscape and determined it was simply too volatile to release to the public.
So instead of a public release, they created this thing called Project Glasswing.
Yes, Project Glasswing.
And through this project, they're making Mythos available to just 40 companies.
Just 40, globally.
40. And they aren't pulling names out of a hat either. Anthropic has essentially picked winners here.
Very much so.
We're talking about the massive, trusted titans of the industry, the companies you'd obviously expect, like Microsoft, Google, Apple, JP Morgan Bank.
It's a highly curated, highly restricted distribution model.
Yeah.
They're taking this incredibly potent dual-use technology and placing it exclusively in the hands of organizations they deem, capable of handling it responsibly.
So they can defend themselves.
Exactly. The logic is to let those specific organizations use Mythos defensively to harden their own incredibly complex architectures against these exact types of automated threats.
Before they hit the open market.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. Because I'm listening to this and thinking, isn't a locked vault exactly what we want? I mean, if you accidentally build a digital doomsday device in your lab, keeping it under lock and key and only giving access to the most resourced, heavily fortified companies in the world, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
I get where you're coming from.
Like, if the alternative is letting it loose in the wild, I absolutely want Google and JP Morgan holding the keys, not some random person on a message board.
It sounds completely logical, yes. Until you realize that Google's Vault doesn't protect the power grid you rely on to charge your phone.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right. This raises a very important question. Who exactly elected Anthropic to decide who is safe and who gets protection?
Nobody did.
Exactly. Giving this frontier technology to 40 megacorporations might fortify their specific walls, but it creates this massive exclusionary shield.
An exclusionary shield?
Yes. Think about the broader implications of that.
Okay.
It protects the giants, absolutely,
Okay.
but it entirely ignores the rest of the digital ecosystem.
Right, the little guys.
The digital world isn't just a closed loop of Microsoft, Google, and Apple servers talking to each other. It's a vast, wildly varied, deeply interconnected web.
Yeah, that's true.
So by isolating the ultimate defensive and offensive tool within a walled garden of 40 corporate titans, you are implicitly leaving everyone else out in the cold.
You're creating a hierarchy.
Exactly. A two-tiered system of digital security where the rich get impenetrable armor and everyone else is just left standing there in T-shirts.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for you, the listener, because that massive blind spot the expert just mentioned, that is where you actually live your life.
It really is.
And this is where the perspective out of the ABC News Australia interview really drives the reality home. Because think about your own day.
Right.
You probably don't bank with JP Morgan. You certainly don't get your drinking water provided by a U.S. tech giant.
No, of course not.
You get your water from a local utility company. Your local infrastructure is the actual backbone of your daily existence.
And that local infrastructure does not run exclusively on the pristine, heavily monitored platforms of those 40 chosen companies.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Critical infrastructure relies heavily on a vast array of small, bespoke software.
Okay, let's focus on the danger of that bespoke code for a second.
It's the real weak point.
Yeah, because we are talking about highly specific programs designed like 10 or 15 years ago for one regional electricity grid.
Exactly. Or a custom routing protocol built on a shoestring budget for a municipal port.
Right. And that is the Achilles heel of our entire society, isn't it?
It absolutely is. A municipal water treatment plant does not have Microsoft's telemetry.
They don't have thousands of security engineers monitoring their network 24/7.
Not even close. They're running legacy code that probably hasn't been audited in a decade.
Wow.
So if Anthropic has genuinely created a tool that can ingest and hack virtually any code base, and they're only releasing it to a small number of trusted parties, what happens to all those bespoke local systems?
They're just sitting ducks.
Entirely.
Like, if I'm the IT director for the water treatment plant down the street, and my legacy software has a terrifying chainable vulnerability buried deep in its architecture, I don't have access to Mythos to help me find it.
No, you don't.
Mhm.
And the asymmetry of defense here is just staggering.
It's totally lopsided.
Right. And it's not just that Mythos is a capable hacker today. It's the inevitable proliferation of this technology.
Right, because secrets don't stay secret forever.
Exactly. If it isn't Mythos that attacks these bespoke systems, it will be the next frontier model from a competitor, or an open source clone that leaks online 6 months from now.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
The technology is advancing so rapidly, it's basically creating the likelihood of far more vulnerabilities that defenders have to patch in systems we previously thought were secure.
And frankly, we're already abysmal at patching those systems.
We really are.
The data from the source shows we do a terrible job in the current environment just keeping up with standard human-driven cyber threats.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've all seen hospitals crippled by ransomware, or pipelines shut down because someone clicked a bad link in an email.
Right. Simple human error.
So if we're already failing at basic defense against humans, what happens when the offensive weapons get exponentially smarter, faster, and fully automated?
Widespread, systemic failure.
Wow.
And this is exactly why the arguments coming out of Australia are so forceful right now.
Yeah, they're pushing back hard.
They are insisting that governments cannot allow a private company to dictate the defensive posture of the entire globe.
They have to demand access.
They must demand access to these tools from Anthropic.
And to be clear on this, they aren't just demanding access for, federal intelligence agencies.
No.
They're demanding access for the people in the trenches, the operators of our critical infrastructure.
The people actually running the ports, the electricity grids, the telecom networks.
Right. They need to have access to this exact same frontier AI.
Because they must be allowed to use tools like Mythos defensively to scour their own messy, bespoke code and find those vulnerabilities before the automated hackers do.
Right before the bad guys get the same tech.
Exactly. Because if you deny the defenders the tools that the attackers will inevitably possess, you are guaranteeing a breach.
That's just a matter of time.
It's as simple as that. You cannot fight an autonomous code-writing supercomputer with a small team of human IT workers trying to manually read server logs.
No, you'd be crushed.
Completely.
So what does this all mean for where we are right now in history?
That's the big question.
There's an assertion in the Australian coverage that we have crossed the Rubicon here. That we're in a new era, we've passed a point of no return. We've basically made a commitment that this AI threat is no longer a white paper theory, it's a physical reality.
Well, Rubicon metaphor is incredibly apt here.
Yeah.
It means the die is cast. The academic debates about whether large language models could pose a legitimate, scalable cyber threat. Those debates are over.
It's no longer hypothetical.
It is here. The automation of complex, chained hacking is no longer a sci-fi concept. It is a demonstrable capability sitting on a server in Anthropic's lab right now.
Okay, but I want to push back on the panic for just a moment.
Sure, let's hear it.
Or at least I want to channel the skeptics in the industry. Because there are actual cyber professionals out there who look at reports of Mythos and they completely shrug their shoulders.
Yeah, the so what crowd.
Right. They're looking at this and saying, look, it's just more of the same. We deal with zero-day exploits all the time. AI will just find a few more vulnerabilities, we'll patch them, and we'll move on.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So are we overreacting? If actual friends of the interviewee in the cyber industry are saying it's just the next standard software update, is this really a Rubicon moment?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, We can see exactly why that specific brand of skepticism is a massive, incredibly dangerous blind spot.
Okay, why?
Let's entertain their premise for a moment.
Thanks.
Let's say Mythos just finds a few more holes. Fine.
Okay.
What about the model that comes out next year?
Oh.
What happens when a tool with truly superhuman capabilities arrives and finds not just one or two holes, but 500 deeply hidden vulnerabilities simultaneously in a piece of critical software?
All chained together.
Yes.
Yes.
What do the human defenders do then?
They drown.
Exactly.
I mean, you physically cannot patch 500 deeply complex chained vulnerabilities manually if the machine is finding them instantly and writing custom exploits for each one.
You can't.
Mm.
The sheer volume would crush any human triage team.
It's an avalanche.
That is the core issue. And even those who were originally skeptical of what AI could do from a security point of view are rapidly changing their tune.
They're waking up to it.
They are. They're realizing that we are currently trapped in a very specific, chilling reality.
Okay.
We are in what the source describes as a nexus.
A nexus. They use the word nexus to describe where we are right now, which sounds incredibly dramatic.
It is dramatic.
So what exactly is colliding here in this nexus?
Well, on one side of the collision, you have decades of fragile, duct-taped legacy code.
Right.
We have built our entire modern digital infrastructure on systems that were simply never designed to be exposed to this level of microscopic, relentless scrutiny.
Because, 20 years ago, when the bespoke software for a municipal train system was written, the primary threat was a teenager trying to guess a password.
Exactly.
Not an autonomous superintelligence mapping the entire architecture to chain 3 obscure logic flaws together.
We built houses of cards, and now we are introducing a hurricane.
Wow.
That's one side of the nexus.
Okay.
Deeply flawed, heavily relied upon legacy code.
And the other side.
On the other side, you have these brand new, highly capable AI tools that are specifically designed to find vulnerabilities and exploit them at a scale and speed we are completely unused to.
Right.
The collision of those two realities, our past technical debt meeting our future technical capabilities, that is the danger zone.
So we're essentially trapped in this messy, highly dangerous transition period.
Very messy.
The offensive capabilities have suddenly leaped light years ahead of the defensive realities on the ground.
Yes, the messy middle.
Right.
Now, to be fair to the broader landscape here, there is a long-term optimism built into this conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Eventually, this exact same AI technology will be entirely beneficial.
Okay. I can see that, because eventually the AI will just be integrated into the development process itself. It will write much better code from the very start.
Right. It'll find the vulnerabilities in the sandbox, patch them autonomously, and we won't even ship the dodgy code to consumers or infrastructure operators in the first place. In the long run, AI could be the ultimate shield.
That's the hope.
It could usher in an era of unprecedented digital security where software is virtually impregnable. But right now, today, until that future arrives, we are navigating this highly volatile nexus where offensive tech is drastically outpacing our defense and restricting the defensive use of these tools to just 40 companies.
Yeah.
It only exacerbates the danger for the rest of society who are stuck dealing with the reality of legacy systems.
We really are standing on the edge of a completely new era. And it leaves us with so much to think about regarding how we handle these next few years.
We have a lot of work to do.
We do. So let's just quickly recap the journey we've been on today.
Sure.
We started with the discovery of Anthropic's Mythos, an AI that has crossed a terrifying threshold by not just spotting flaws, but actively chaining exploits and writing the executable code to attack them.
The automated hacker.
Exactly. Then we explored how their Glasswing project restricted this potent tool to just 40 corporate giants, acting as an exclusionary shield.
Right.
And we spent time examining the massive blind spot this creates for local, bespoke, critical infrastructure. The ports, the water facilities, the electricity grids, leaving them highly vulnerable.
The Achilles heel.
Yeah. Ultimately, we are officially navigating a messy, dangerous transition period. A true Rubicon moment where the legacy code of the past is violently colliding with the superhuman automated hacking of the future.
It is a critical, perhaps defining moment for the global digital ecosystem.
And I really want to remind you why we took this deep dive today.
Yeah, why it matters.
Because this isn't just an abstract tech story happening in a boardroom thousands of miles away. This
Wow.
is about the unseen digital foundation that keeps your local community running.
Exactly.
It's about the software that keeps your lights on and your drinking water clean. If those systems are left defenseless against automated AI threats because the tools to fix them are locked in a corporate vault, it affects all of us.
Absolutely. And I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over, building on that long-term optimism we just discussed.
Okay.
We noted that eventually AI will be beneficial because it will write better code and find vulnerabilities before products even ship.
Right, the ultimate shield.
But think about what that ultimately means.
Hmm.
If AI systems like Mythos eventually become the ultimate perfect defenders, autonomously monitoring networks, writing all the code, and patching every flaw before human engineers even realize there is a problem, does that mean the only way to achieve true digital security in the future is to surrender complete control of our critical infrastructure's code to the very AI models we are currently so terrified of?
Wow. A fascinating and honestly slightly terrifying question to leave you with. Surrendering the keys to survive the storm.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of the sources today. We always love going on these journeys of discovery with you. Until next time, stay curious.